Hi, this is CRUMB. Hey, sweetie. He's a downed racing pigeon. They're not sure if he has a little respiratory going on, but I don't really see too much. I think he just might be very scared. And the adoption process was really fast because I think they were just happy that somebody was taking him. You know, with pigeons, it seems like a lot of people don't like pigeons at all. There was one girl in there that said she likes birds, and she has birds and would like a pigeon, but her boyfriend that she's with doesn't want more birds. But she said that most of the people in there are like, it's a pigeon, you know. So, are you so undesirable? That's a sweet little guy. And she said, are you going to keep his name? I said, yeah, it's kind of funny. I'll call him CRUMB. And then she liked that because she was the one who named him that. So let's head home. He says, I'm hearing dogs barking. Okay, let's head back home, CRUMB, and get you isolated there. We got to make a vet appointment for you then. Here we are back home. How you doing, sweetie? You did a poop there and it looks pretty solid, so that's a good thing. But first I have to get him into an isolation area. I don't want to put him near other pigeons. You don't want to put any animal near your other pets. You need to isolate them as far away as possible because you never know what you could be bringing into your house. And you want to make sure they get to a vet and are checked out. Well, I had this cage set up already as an isolation cage for the bunny that they put down. But there's CRUMB. Hi, CRUMB. He kind of just sat and was very calm on the way home. How you doing? I put a little bit of old towels there for him to sit on. And he's got nice water and he's got some food. And we'll just let him settle in here in the basement here. I have to keep him away from the other pigeons. How you doing? You might be a girl too, who knows? The leg band says a Chicago bird, some kind of a racing club. Those racing pigeons, I've said this before, it's a really cruel sport. And here he is. How you doing, sweetie? It's a very cruel sport. You know, the pigeons, they're taken out, they're dumped. They have to fly home. The ones that don't get killed by hawks or get lost, the ones that make it home are the winners, and the ones that don't make it home or make it home late are culled out. Sometimes just outright killed by the people. And I don't know what kind of a sport that is, but it's terrible. Right, CRUMB? You don't have to do that anymore. Now you're going to live and have a easy-going life here, and you don't have to worry. Okay, sweetie? Well, I moved CRUMB here up to the dining room in the cage that I had used for Irving and Georgie Girl when they first came here. So he's got a view out the window here. It's not sunny, but it's a view out the window. Stuff happening, right? You see some cars going by. Kind of a youngish worker at the Humane Society, this young girl. She looked like she was maybe 20 years old. She named him. She named him CRUMB. And like I said, she asked if I was going to keep the name. And when I said, yeah, I probably might as well because it's kind of funny. And she was all happy about that. But if this was the 1930s or 40s, that name would be an insult to you, wouldn't it? You'd say, you CRUMB, you mug, you ratted on us to the law. You sung like a canary and you say you're just a pigeon, but Big Al knows you was the one who ratted us out. Right? He says, but it's not the 30s or 40s and I can be called CRUMB. Right? He's just looking around. He's kind of like saying, what is going on here? Now, because he's a racing pigeon, there are some things that are probably going to happen before he calms down. Now Crumb's had some safflower seeds, and he didn't eat them all, but he ate a few of them. How you doing, baby? Now, what's the difference between a homing pigeon and a racing pigeon? Well, they are all homing pigeons. Pigeons, they try to get back to where they think their home is, and they're going to try very hard to get back. And because of that, this sport developed where people take the pigeons way far away and release them all at once. There's like a gate. It's like a horse race where a bell goes off and the gate opens. They have all these pigeons on these trucks. And, you know, the money, I don't know where the money comes from, but maybe it's entry fees or something like that. But these pigeons go off and they're timed. Okay, they have a timer. The people have to have a special timer where the pigeons walk in through a door into their loft and the timer stops. But the people, and I've said this before, this sport is just as cruel as people who use pit bulls to fight each other and tear each other to pieces. Dog fighting. And I think most people would say dog fighting is terrible and rotten, right? But the pigeons, the racing pigeons, it seems like, well, that seems like a fun sport. But it's not. Because the pigeons, on their way home, many of them get attacked by hawks and killed. Many of them become lost, or they might fly into a windstorm or a rainstorm, and they get off course and they get exhausted. Some of them can get so exhausted that they're flying lower and they can hit into something, like a window that's a shiny window on a skyscraper, or get hit by something on like a semi-truck going down the highway. And once they get exhausted and come down, then their other predators can get them. It would be like you taking your poodle or your Cocker Spaniel out, take it 50 miles away and saying, okay, dog, come home. And so what? If you don't make it, you know, well, then you're a loser. And the people who raise pigeons, they don't want losers, they want winners. So they're either going to kill the pigeons that are late getting back, or they're going to sell them off, or they're going to just, I don't know what they do with them. And they don't care at all about the ones that don't make it back. So the ones that get exhausted, they don't care. Crumb, they don't care about you. He says, what? It's true. But I care about you, so you're here now. Now here's what's going to happen with Crumb, and it happened with Irving. He's going to be very nervous and wanting to get out of the cage and wanting to go home. Now he's already been at the Humane Society for 2 weeks, so he's a lot calmer than Irving was, because I found Irving. So Irving, you know, he was like, I gotta get home, I gotta get home. And it took a couple months for him to calm down, and then he realized that this was his home and he didn't have to go anywhere. But it takes a little while, because it's in their genetics to go back to their home area. So since this little guy's been here down on the ground and in the Humane Society for it was like a day over 2 weeks, he's probably calmed down a little bit already, but we'll see. But it usually takes a couple of months, and then he'll get over it and say, yeah, I'm here, right? The racing pigeons are usually very young pigeons as well, because they would be the most robust. How you doing, sweet baby? And you're listening to me. At the Humane Society as well, the lady, the young lady who took care of me, she said she likes the birds, but nobody else was really interested in this pigeon that worked there. It was just like, it's a pigeon. And I said, yeah, the pigeons they're like the Cinderellas of the bird world. And yet they're so beautiful because look at the iridescence on their necks, the purple and green. They got that smoky gray, and they come in so many colors, buffs and, you know, blacks and sheens, different sheens on the feathers. I said if they were rare, people would think they were really special. And he's feeling a little at home already. He's saying, I'm going to preen in front of you. So that's a good sign, isn't it? And you get lots of treats. I made a vet appointment already. And you just hang out. Then you'll meet the guys after you've been cleared of everything. Make sure you have no internal or external parasites. I'm getting the feeling maybe that CRUMB is a girl, but I'm not sure. There's really no way to tell besides some people say you can turn the pigeon upside down and stroke its legs down, and if they stay down it's a girl, and if they pop right back up into a walking position it's a boy. Now that's not totally reliable, but what really makes it obvious is when they start acting like a male and displaying or wrestling with your fingers and fighting with your fingers. Then you know if it's a boy or a girl. So we'll have to see, right? Of course, the other way, if you want, like when they do things with parrots and other expensive birds, and they get a DNA sample to see what sex they are, and you have to pay, you know, for that. But I'm not interested in that, because whatever you are here, right, CRUMB baby? Okay. I try to keep my eye out for pigeons at humane societies, but I really haven't seen any. Besides Great Lakes Pigeon Rescue, but you know that's way down in Illinois, so we'd have to drive way down there to pick up a pigeon, and we have done that with Larry. We did that with Larry, and I had Wobble Mimi and Georgie Girl. They both were shipped up here, but you know it's very expensive shipping a live animal because it has to go overnight. It has to go fast, so you're paying for that. And then I always worry about them being shipped too. With Wobble Mimi, she was one day late, and I was like getting frantic calling the post office. Did they get this box yet? That it's got a live bird. It's got a live bird in it. And when it came in, they called me right away. And these people were all really interested in it. They were like, what is that? And I said, it's a pigeon. And they were all really interested in that the pigeon was shipped through the mail in a box called Feather X. What a beautiful baby you are. You're just a beauty, aren't you? Well, CRUMB's looking at cars, watching the cars go by out the window. And I was going to say one more thing about pigeons or any animal before I go. When I made the vet appointment for him, I don't want to make it right away, so I made it for 3 weeks on. That would give him a total of 5 weeks since he was found. And the reason I do that is because he could have come into contact with some kind of parasites just right prior to when he was found. And those parasites, they might take a while to get enough in number to show up on a test. So let's say, for example, he came into contact with some roundworm eggs from wild birds. You know, he was pecking at the ground and he came into contact with something like that and ingested the eggs. It would take a while for the cycle of the roundworm to get going, and I would not want a test too soon that might show a false negative. So by 5 weeks in, if he's got anything, it should show up. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.